All right, welcome to an after show, and thank you very much. I'm Dave Morales, if you were just watching us on Fox 26. The Elvis glasses, I actually got these at Graceland. They're like $5 in plastic souvenirs.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, and I'll talk more about that movie coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But welcome to the after show. I know that we've got Ruben, we've got Mike, Melissa Wilson. It is great to see you in the building. They let me in after, it's been 2 years since I have stood on this set, and I will tell you right now.
I can't believe you were here. And what stinks is we were all fired up about who you brought in from Stranger Things. That was incredible. And we're like torn. Oh my goodness, she's here. Oh, but it's Dave. Oh, but she's here.
You know what? Priya Ferguson, she's the real star. So you need to get excited about Priya Ferguson.
Yeah.
But you know what I thought was great? How excited everybody got, because, you know, Mike was taking pictures for his daughters, and we'll get to that in a second. But you also got something for Caleb.
I did, yes. She gave him a little video message, so when he wakes up this morning, you know, teenagers, he's dead asleep right now. He doesn't have a care in the world, but when he wakes up to that, it's going to be great. And I got the idea from Mike, so I have to give Mike a kudos for that. I was so happy he got to FaceTime it though. He got to go live with it. But
are you a Stranger Things fan?
Only because my kids love it so much, and I love to see the joy it brings them. I've watched it with them some. I just don't have time for TV. I'm usually cooking or something when they're watching, so I always hear it in the background at least, right? So you know how it goes. But I have to get going because I'm interviewing singer-songwriter Don McLean, because he's coming to H-Town this weekend. It's his 50th anniversary of American Pie. Can you believe that after all these years?
Wow,
so we'll be talking about where he'll be, how you can get tickets, and all that good stuff.
Well, go talk to Don. My goodness, what a classic songwriter, singer.
Fun.
Have fun with that. Can't wait to see the interview.
I'll
cool.
see you soon.
Great to see you. All right, Ruben, I'm going to go to you because Mike and I are going to rap about Stranger Things. Mike and I nerded out this morning about Stranger Things, but Ruben, you were actually one of the first people when that show came out years ago. I remember you and I were doing an X Factor or something, and you looked at me and you said, Dave, you need to be watching Stranger Things. And wow, you were right on the money. And look how popular that show is right now. I know you still watch it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Dave, you know, one of the few things I've been able to call. That's one of the very few times that I said this is going to be good, and it was good. But I'm about to be right for a second time. I'm about to tell you the food you need to try, Dave. We're at Soi Pinoy down here at Post and inside of Post Market. You know, we've been trying to cover all of the different foods, restaurants as they have come online to make sure you guys understand just the incredible selection, the diversity. And I've got I got a big name here myself, Tom Cunanan, world-renowned chef now. You know, covers of magazines. You know, touring around, doing stuff. Was just at Aspen Wine and Food Week. First of all, what was that like?
Wow. Aspen was like an out-of-body experience. I got to meet all my favorite chefs there. Nancy Silverton, Andrew Zimmern, Brooke Williamson, the list goes on.
And they got to meet you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, well, you know, they were the stars of the show, so, you know, also forgot to mention Kwame Wachi was there, and it was just an amazing experience.
And now you're in Houston, man. And so look, talk to me about Soi Pinoy, because this is a very unique concept. First one I've seen like it in Houston, Filipino food, right?
Yep. So this is our take on Filipino food, fast casual. So what you'll see here is like not really traditional Filipino food. Like for example, you have this calamari. So this is a squid adobo calamari. Usually, the classic version would be like a calamari stew, but rather we did a sort of like a frito misto. So it's like fried squid and fried peppers with some shrimp chips on there, and squid adobo sauce. And we have this like trending dish here called Singaporean fried shrimp with our salted duck egg sauce. The sauce is very sweet, savory, unctuous, super delicious.
You were saying Filipinos love their sauces?
We love our sauces. You know, like we have here, we have our spicy vinegar with our grilled barbecue here, barbecue pork, barbecue chicken, and also we have our pancit, which is pretty much our traditional pancit. It's also vegetarian, so if you guys are vegetarians, please dive in. And also my favorite, our Filipino spaghetti with bolognese, red hot dogs, and Parmesan cheese. This is my mom's recipe, so you know, I hold it very dear to my heart.
That's why it's called Tom's Spaghetti. All right, so and you've been in Houston here for about 5 months, and you said you're still kind of getting a feel for, you know, what we have to offer regionally and ingredients and all of that kind of stuff. How
Right.
often do you travel like back to the Philippines to get some inspiration, find out about ingredients, and
Yeah.
just bring it all here?
So the last time I was in the Philippines was 2019, and the Department of Tourism invited me to do a big food crawl in the Philippines. So I started in Manila to Pampanga, to Cebu, to Iloilo, to Bacolod, to Davao, back to Manila. So so most of my inspiration for Filipino food is regional, and I try to you know, I love the classics, but for me it's always trying to just explore more of the regional dishes, because for me that's what I get really excited about. So yeah, like, you know, this is your Manila classics, but you know, moving forward, you'll see some more different dishes compared to what you see today.
I love it, man. Guys, the food looks amazing. It visually looks amazing. So as soon as I can find a fork, I'm going to get inside, and I'll give you a full report later of what it actually tastes like. Tom, welcome to Houston, buddy. Looking forward to see what you do next, man. Very excited to have you with us. All right, guys, Soy Pinoy. Check it out at Post Market right here at Post Houston. Dave, you got to get down here, buddy.
That
I know there's something for
looks
you on this menu.
fantastic. Wow, and I've yet to make it down to Post. I've heard great things about that area. Awesome, Ruben. That looks amazing.
You got to come.
Good deal. All right, so yeah, we had Priya Ferguson on the set with us this morning. She plays Erica Sinclair on Stranger Things. If you missed that, we'll have it online for you in the 8 o'clock hour this morning. We were talking with her. Stranger Things season 4 is actually now streaming on Netflix. Volume 1, Volume 2 kicks off July 1st. But what was interesting, Mike Iskovitz, gonna bring you into the conversation. You were so geeked out,
Yes.
and I'm not calling you out, but you were so excited to meet Priya this morning. But I will tell you, Mike, she told me on the way out, she said, hey, is there anything you guys can do about this heat in Houston?
Oh yeah, well, that's why I'm glad that I went did the weather report first, so that way I could just okay. So here's what happened. This is what happened. I heard the word Stranger Things. I was working on my next weather hit. I hear the word Stranger Things, and then I turned around, I saw you, and I just assumed that you were going to be doing, you know, like a story, a package about Stranger Things, or maybe you interviewed somebody from the show, you know, on tape. And then I looked, I said, somebody's here. And then I looked and I saw her. I said, oh my gosh, that's Lucas's sister, Erica. And so right away, what I did was, because my daughters are off to, they're participating in a camp thing this week, my teenagers. My youngest hasn't seen the show. But so I FaceTimed them right away. And I'm like, okay, so, girls, I can't talk. I'm like, Erica from Stranger Things is here. And they're like, what? So then I turned the camera around and they're like, oh, they start giggling and everything. It was so funny. And now I know that a lot of these, the episodes, I don't know when the episodes were actually filmed.
A couple of years ago, she
A
said.
couple years ago, yeah. So obviously she's older now and she's like a lady. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, could that be her? Well, she looks so much more grown up in person. But yeah, that show is just taken on a life of its own. So I've obviously watched every episode and binge watched season 4, volume 1 or chapter 1, however you want to refer to it. And it's so good. And, you know, she plays in, you know, season 4 again. She was hilarious in season 3, you know, as just this like whiz kid, you know, from the mid 80s and you know, comes into season 4 and steps in as a great Dungeons and Dragons player, which I understand you have in common. She might not have even known about D&D before the show, though, right?
That's what she
She's too
told me.
young.
Yeah, she told me, and it's going to come as no surprise to anybody watching. I'm a nerd, and I'm proud of it. Nerds have to own that stuff. And growing up, we had a buddy around the corner. I think my mom's watching right now, so this is a confession. But I had a buddy, and we played in his garage at D&D. The first time I discovered it. Did you play D&D?
I've played it before, yeah. I think it takes patience is the thing. And that's what I didn't have, because you have to build up your character and all of that stuff. And I think I never found the right group of guys to really get into it with. But yeah, I think I started a couple of times. I thought it was really fun because didn't you, like, you had to pick, like, if your character was like a thief or a wizard or a,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing.
And a lot of spinning, the rolling of the dice. And
Yes.
We spent hours in my buddy's garage. It was around the corner from us in North Houston. Shout out North Side. And but we did that for hours. And so when that came up in Stranger Things, as I told you off the air earlier, it enlightened me. And that's why I asked her. I said, "Did you know?" And she's like, "No." And her mother is the one that schooled her on all the '80s stuff because, of course, Kate Bush running up that hill. It's what's old is new now, and she didn't know that song either. But her mother, who was on set with us this morning, she's like, "I'm the one that taught her about the '80s." So, yeah.
Well, it's the show. Think about, like, how many shows would people wait? What was it, like 3 years or something? For the next season to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, not many. I think a lot of people would lose interest, but not with Stranger Things. So
No,
that was,
and that is a true story. Ruben's the one that actually turned me on to it many years
remember.
ago. It's a great show. Yeah, Volume 2 of Season 4 right now premieres on July the 1st, and you can stream Volume 1 on Netflix, of course, right now. All right, Mike, I know Mom's watching, so I have to ask, though. She asked me earlier this week. When you see Mike, first of all, congratulate him on Chief Meteorologist.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
I texted you the day. I'm like, dude, that is so amazing. But how much longer? Are we just going to be this way till like October?
Probably, yeah. Well,
Okay.
we're going to get a little break early next week. It does look like a front is going to come in and stall and give us a day or two of rain. Might change the pattern up a little bit, but we're locked in, man. We're locked in. Let me share a couple of graphics with you because it is going to be obviously extremely hot out there today. Some people like the feels like temperature, some people don't. I do. A lot of people say, "Don't tell me how to feel," and that kind of thing. So not to offend anybody, but 104 is the heat index for Galveston, and 99 in Tomball, and up there on Dave's North Side, it's 98 degrees up there around Spring. So that's what we got for you right now. As far as the extended forecast, come on now. I want to show you the 7-day because it's not pretty. It's not a pretty sight at all. We got a lot of 100-degree temperatures in the future. In fact, this weekend is probably going to be the hottest week that we've seen in about 3 years at least. Here across the Houston area, could hit 103, 104, who knows, maybe even higher. Coming up on Sunday, and then we have our summer cold front coming in to knock the temperature all the way down to 97.
You know what, though? I'll take the heat. I'm like you. I will take the heat. By the way, I did the collar and the glasses just to be talking Elvis here in a minute.
Yeah, there you go.
But I'll take the heat because after that cold thing that we had, a couple of years ago, no.
Yeah,
I
with you.
take the heat because you can walk into air conditioning, like a studio set like this where it's like 50 degrees. You can walk into it, but the cold, forget it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, when we went and saw Top Gun Maverick last weekend or 2 weekends ago, everything was Elvis. All the promos were Elvis. All the posters up at the AMC Theater, everything was Elvis.
It's great. I'll talk more about this, as the week goes on. Tomorrow we have Olivia DeJonge, who plays Priscilla Presley, and Baz Luhrmann, the director of Elvis. We're talking with him tomorrow here on Fox 26. You can watch those interviews on the morning show. But we filmed the interviews at Graceland, traveled by Warner Brothers. I need to get that in there. It was surreal. Priscilla was there. Lisa Marie was there. This movie is for fans. Even if you're not a fan and you want to know more about Elvis, as Priscilla told us, it's a very raw look at the life of Elvis Presley. They do not sugarcoat anything. It is not a Hallmark type movie. It's just a very real look at Elvis. My mom cried when we left the theater, and I was like choking up too because I am a huge Elvis fan. This movie is fantastic. It does open up in theaters on Friday, and thank you very much. All right, speaking of thanks, thanks to everybody. I don't have the names like Nate does, but Triple G I know is on it. Kevin, Let's Make It Happen, Collins. Jonathan, Sabin, Chastain, Lamborghini, I know that one too. But most importantly, thank everyone for watching us this morning. And have a fantastic day. Stay cool, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Bye now. Thanks.